And the game has loaded. We have Team EP replacing Team Vile. In the bottom as the Fingo as the orange Protoss. His partner is REQPhiliBiRD as the yellow Terran spawning in the bottom left positions. In the bottom right we have coLMinigun as the green Protoss representing something and brooches, guns and brooches, is it?
Guns and brooches,
Guns.
that. Yep.
Guns and brooches, and his partner his partner Root Destiny in the right as the blue Zerg. I'm watching that Zerg closely. I'm just waiting for that 15 hatch.
Yeah, I mean, it's still certainly possible to see an early pool, but, you know, when you're playing against a Zerg or a Protoss and a Terran, it's just so easy for the two of them to wall this off very, very quickly. And it looks like these two teams are going to be scouting each other very quick as these two probes pass each other. So I think with that early probe there, scouting from Minigun, Destiny will feel very comfortable, be like, oh, there's a pylon and a supply depot going down in normal places. I can indeed get away with a hatch first opening.
Yeah, and you know, at first I was a bit confused because every single team was scouting so darn early compared to one-on-ones, but given the games that we've seen, the early proxies, the cheese and stuff like that, it makes complete sense. You want to send that scout out early. Even just seeing a pylon gives away a lot about an opposing team's strategy. You know they're not going to proxy racks or proxy gateway or cannon you or anything like that. So it's very funny how the 2v2 changes so much from 1v1 as far as scouting goes.
Yeah, and look at this, Fingo going to be being as annoying as possible, but oh, Destiny actually ninjas that hatchery, and that's a bit of a blunder there from Fingo to let that go down, but nonetheless he knows exactly what is up, and the question is, will they try and capitalize upon this, or are they just going to, you know, sit back and take their own expansion? It looks like actually Fingo is going to be going Nexus first, which is, that's pretty cool, and you know, they've actually gotten rid of all the scouts in their base, so this should be pretty well disguised. However, I think Destiny and Minigun might be a little bit suspicious about, you know, not seeing a gateway.
Yeah, and your voice was turning a bit robotic there for a second. I don't know if the stream heard that, but that was pretty cool, actually. I kind of like it. But Destiny, spawning pool is on the way. He's got his gas coming. He's not going to be able to get his speed immediately. We are seeing that double racks wall off from REQPhiliBiRD. You almost have to wall off against the Zerg, especially when your teammate is Nexusing. Nexus firsting, that is. Double gas coming out for the Protoss, and that's before he's even completed a gateway. So, do you think, is this normal, or do you think he might feed PhiliBiRD with some gas, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, feeding is definitely possible. PhiliBiRD actually also taking both of his gas. These guys are going to be teching up pretty hard. This is really cool. I mean, it's just so hard to say. They can do absolutely anything, really. Just kind of got to wait, you know? It's just like, well, what could he do? He could do anything.
Yep. And seeing a bit of a longer game right now. A similar opening to last time. However, this time, PhiliBiRD, you can't really apply pressure to that hatchery just because this map is different. He is getting a bunker once again, trying to protect his teammate, which has Nexus firsted. And Destiny just popping out some drones. If we check out the units, not a whole lot from anyone. Just 7 Marines from PhiliBiRD, a couple gateway units from Minigun, and just 2 Zerglings from Destiny. His economy is going to be huge in just a bit here, assuming there's no threat and that he can just keep on droning up.
Yeah, Minigun doing a great job poking up that ramp with the Stalker. Might be getting a bit suspicious at the lack of Protoss units up there, only seeing Marines, but once again, you know, it's a 2v2, just like, these guys are still kind of figuring out the metagame too, so it's hard to know what to look for exactly. It's a real big challenge.
And being Zerg does not help. You can see this Overlord down in the bottom trying to get some information. They will see that expansion. If you are Destiny and Minigun right now, you have to assume either a really fast expansion or some kind of tech timing attack. And there we are seeing the scout from Destiny pulling that Overlord away so the probes don't see that Overlord. And they don't know that Destiny knows that they expanded, which is always a good thing.
Indeed, and Destiny now going to be throwing down 2 Evo chambers, so it's kind of looking like a super mass Ling play, and from Minigun we have got Robotics Bay coming up, so it's going to be a Colossus / mass Ling mix. And to deal with that, we're actually going to see 2 factory Blue Flame Hellions coming out of PhiliBiRD, as well as, you know, Fingo, he's kind of still up in the air here. He's got a Forge, he's got, well, there's the Blink coming out, so Blink plus Blue Flame Hellions against Mass Lings into, I'm sure, what will likely be Infestors. I think that's a safe production. or prediction to make, as well as Colossus.
Safe production and safe prediction, man. Infestors are good. And, you know, I like this blue flame, but believe it or not, I don't think Destiny has any Lings out. He has 2 Lings out, so these blue flame Hellions might not do anything. Destiny's just focusing on massive droning. He's now 42 to his opponent's 40 and 25. Minigun sitting at 33 Harvesters, and Minigun actually with a pro observer seeing these blue flame Hellions. Now Destiny's definitely not going to get those Lings, and in response to seeing these blue flame Hellions, very intelligently throwing down that Roach Warren. I love this scouting. I feel like Destiny and Minigun are in good shape. They've got some good intel, and they're going to have a great composition to deal with these Hellions and Marines.
Yeah, definitely very smart. Looks like a scan went down. I think he killed that observer, did he not? Yes, he actually did take out the observer, so that's, of course, a bonus. But that observer got in there and saw what was up. Meanwhile, the EP team playing very much in the dark, and actually Destiny even canceling the +1 melee attack, starting +1 range. I think that's a great choice right there.
Minigun with that first Colossus. I don't see any Colossi from Fingo, and that could be some bad news. They just dominate. The Colossi dominate just 2v2 any ground forces, especially with Infestors, fungal growthing enemy units out of range of the Colossus. Once they have that upgrade, they will have 9 range. And I don't see any units that really have more than 6 range. No Vikings, no tanks, no Colossi from Fingo and REQPhiliBiRD. And looks like they are getting ready to move out and stage an attack.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really think this is going to go too well. Like you said, these 2 Colossus, there isn't any Thermal Lance, so possibly the Blinkstalkers can get something done, but the Hellions are really not going to be very effective, and of course these Marines are kind of going to be fodder for the Colossus.
Yep, and it does look like their speed or their attack range is almost up. And it would actually be quite advantageous for Fingo and REQPhiliBiRD to move in before that range gets up, but of course they have no way of knowing that. Looks like REQPhiliBiRD actually backing off. Is he responding to something, or no? It looks like they're just choosing not to attack. Maybe they saw the Colossi. I think I did see a scan up at that the cliff there. Couldn't quite catch that. Maybe they just realized they were outnumbered. They need to try something different.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good thing for them they didn't attack, but even if they don't attack, the composition of Destiny and Minigun is just looking very good, and of course that trademark Infestation Pit is up. Pathogen Glands is nearing completion. We've got the first Infestor in production. He's actually spent all his gas, so he can't get a big mass, but regardless, it's going to be tricky, and actually there's a whole bunch of pylons going up all over the map. These guys... It's almost like a game of chicken here, saying, okay, who's going to take another expansion, because when you do that, we're just going to come kill you when you do that.
That's exactly what I was thinking, trying to block off the expansions, dare your opponent to take one somewhere. And it's kind of interesting, the ones that Minigun has in the top right of the map, I'm unsure why he has 3 pylons positioned how he does. Any reasoning for that, you think?
They don't want to be lonely, maybe.
I guess so. Well, the one on top is lonely. The 2 on the bottom, they're friends. It's like those rocks are going down. I don't expect them to expand there. Maybe just clearing up some space for their units to move. I mean, that gold base just looks way too susceptible to be taken in. And speak of the devil, here comes a probe. 1 pylon going up. Are we going to see a Nexus from Minigun? That would be extremely ballsy, I gotta say.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty bold. If you could wait for a couple more Infestors to pop out, then maybe. But right now, there's still only 2 Infestors out. Destiny is getting Neural Parasite, which is kind of interesting. There's not really a lot of units out that are great. I think they're kind of expecting Colossus, but there aren't any Colossus. Tanks, if you can get a good angle, are great to Neural Parasite, but it's very difficult to actually get into a good position. And now here we go. EP is going to be moving out, and Destiny's units all the way out of position, but we'll see. Of course, with that Zelnaga Watchtower, they should kind of know when something's coming.
And a little bit of a skirmish going on here. Those tanks are sieging up. That's going to be the deciding factor in this. Destiny and Minigun want none of it. They're going to back off, and I feel like this Nexus could be canceled any second now. And like you said, those tanks, they are kind of susceptible to Neural Parasite, but it's really if you're at the right angle, if your opponent doesn't notice it. But with the addition of these Blinkstalkers, if those tanks do get Neural Parasited, you can just blink onto the Infestors and just try to snipe them if you can. Of course, it's dangerous because of all the roaches and Colossi, but definitely
like
something
Destiny.
that's an option.
Looks like Destiny wants to kind of counterattack a little bit here with his roaches out in the center of the map, but kind of thinking better of it, pulling back a bit here.
And there goes the Nexus. Cancel the Nexus or it was destroyed. Destiny continuing to drone up, and he actually took that third base. Did not notice that. 3 spines going down, a couple of geysers, and he's content to just stick with roaches with those +2 upgrades coming up, and infestors, and while Minigun just producing more colossi. So I feel like colossi are the way to go. Just keep pumping those out, and you'll be set.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of Archons in the mix now for Fingo, but once again, like you say, those Colossus are just so hard to engage into, even if you've got tanks, and once again with... oh, the Infestors, what are they doing? They're way out in front. The Infestors getting taken out for free. Wonder what Destiny had to say about that.
I don't imagine it was anything non-vulgar, that's for sure. 3 Infestors getting taken out. He's now sitting at just 4 Infestors, and this is because his roach count is so high. 43 roaches. If we check Harvesters, still 68, 74 Harvesters. Here we go. Huge battle in the middle. Zealots up front soaking up the damage, but they're saying there's too many tanks, losing a lot of Zealots. Maybe only killing a couple units from Team EP, and once again backing off. This pressure is intense. There's still 7 tanks being sieged up, and REQPhiliBiRD just needs to keep rallying those tanks, and they can just gain position slowly and surely.
And Destiny burrows a whole bunch of Infestors, but a scan goes down on the army, and he has to think better of that. These the EP guys, man, they got to be careful. They know that Destiny will burrow these Infestors, try and drop some bombs to get those tanks to do some friendly splash, but for now they're... You know, this slow tank push is just very effective, and we are seeing a lot. And look at this, they're actually going to expand to this location very